So welcome back to Betide. So in this video, this is the second part of the pixel streaming series where we are going to set up 4-player Odin plugin with not the plugin actually, the web SDK of 4-player Odin with pixel streaming components so that you can have the front end working with voice chat. So how normally people are trying to implement voice chat in the game is what they do is they send a voice from the front end to Unreal Engine, and then Unreal Engine sends it to all the other multiplayer clients, and then it is replicated. So this is a bit lengthy process, and there is a huge delay in what you like when you speak and when others hear. The better solution would be to implement the voice chat on the front end itself. The only disadvantage is you won't have positional voice chat. But if you are targeting positional voice chat, then that can also be done on front end if you pass the position of the players from time to time. Anyways, let's go through the preview of this. So you can see we are able to speak from the front end, and we are using a test tool that is provided by 4-player Odin team that you can use to test your own applications or even talk to each other if you want. This is a really nice tool, to be honest. So you can do that, and also you would be able to unmute yourself and increase the volume and do all the other pretty stuff by the end of this video. Oh, I don't think the volume stuff is here, but it's pretty easy when you see how easy the mute and unmute function is. So that said, let's get started with this video. So welcome back to the screen. Hopefully you are able to see everything clearly, but let's get started. So let's go to the modified samples, and in the front end folder we need to modify and add a few nodes and things required for the 4-player Odin plugin. Also, I would expect that you have seen the older video, like the first part of the series, because that is required. So in the UI library, just write command and open it up. So this will open up the command prompt with that path, so you don't need to cd to it. But now you can write npm install 4-player odin-tokens. That is the description would hold all the commands that you need to use, so don't worry about that. One more thing that I need to say is you need to have Node.js installed for this to run, and please ignore the first two errors. I was trying to record it and it got messed up. So now write npm install 4-player odin and odin-tokens. So you need to install these two dependencies, which is pretty easy. You just need to have Node.js installed, and npm should be added to path, which as far as I know is done when you install Node.js, and it automatically adds npm to the path. So go to the source folder, then application, and open up the application.ts, because that's the main thing that we need to modify. So 4-player Odin gives you an example application.ts or maybe main.ts, which you can use and easily implement 4-player Odin into your project. I think in 20 minutes you would be able to do it. So let's go. The link would be in the description, so you can also copy it from there. We do not need this import as a .style.cs things and all the UI options. We are going to use the UI of Unreal Engine's front end. So copy the import lines firstly, and we can paste it anywhere. Oh, let me copy this. Yeah, so we can paste it anywhere below the import statements, and I mean anywhere. So I would be doing it maybe here. And because for odin-tokens and Odin are already installed, you are not getting any red errors. But if you are getting some red underline behind the below the line, then please check if the 4-player Odin got installed or not. Now copy the part below style.ts. Oh, before that, let me show you something. Scroll down. Yeah. So here are all the UI functions. If you need to have a look on how you can communicate with the UI, but that is not required. Because we are going to use Unreal Engine to control the audio inputs. So copy all the code from here till import.cs above the UI options, and go back to your application.ts. Scroll down And below the last import statement, make a few lines so that the code, like you have a bit of space behind it, and just paste the code that you just copied. Yeah, so now we have a few red errors, but don't worry about them. They are mostly mostly the UI functions that we did not add. So these UI functions are not required, so we can remove them easily. So select this, remove, scroll down, select this, remove, scroll down, remove this complete block because this is not required completely. Then we can also remove this app title thing, that is also not required completely. Oh, I removed commas. Okay, we will add it back. Remove add or update UI peer of functions, and also remove UI peer functions. Last thing, do not remove this disconnect, leave it on. We will fix this now in a few seconds. And last thing that we need to fix is, yeah, remove these functions also. Yeah, and now we can add a curly brace. One more thing that we need to add is, yeah, a brackets, and then the disconnect thing, like the red errors have gone. So the basic integration has been done. Now what we need to do is we need to connect to the voice chat depending upon the code that we get from Unreal Engine, and that is done on the place where we get the response from Unreal Engine. So let's just scroll down and move on to that point. So this is the logic that we made in the last video. So we need to now modify it. We do not need to receive the sum message switch case. So for now, we can remove this switch case. We will have to add it back, but for now we can remove it. And because the response we are getting is in form of a JSON, so we need to add a JSON parser. So add a try statement, and then we need to, let me just open up this. And then if this try for breaking that JSON fails, we will catch the error. Oh, sorry, error. And this error would be like, we can just make console.log and we can print, hey, this is not a, what do we say, this is not something that I was expecting, the response is not in the JSON format. So if for this try, we are going back and we will have to add a patcher for this. So basically, which would a JSON parser would break this response string and try to get the JSON values out of it. So we will add let parsed JSON, or maybe we can name the parsed response, and then JSON dot parse in the brackets. We will add the JSON value, which is the response. After this, we will add like after we get this parsed response, we will check if that is valid. And if that parsed response is valid, we will check if that parsed response also contains the value that we are looking for, which is in our case maybe like room ID or something like that. So we will name this room code. So the spellings should be exact. The room code is the exact word that we are going to pass from Unreal Engine. So now we will pass let, no, let's go up here and let's make a new variable for room ID, or we can use this default one, room ID, which is set to default. We will use this one. So we will set room ID is equal to parsed response dot room code. Don't confuse between room code and room ID, both are same, exactly same. So after we have set the value for the room ID, we now need to just print the room ID so that we can check from Unreal Engine that we're passing the values correctly. Then after we print this room ID, we now need to connect to that room for which this room ID is. So connecting is pretty much simple. What we need to do is we can go and write const token generator, which is equal to token new token generator in brackets, and then I don't think anything is left. Why is it showing a red line? Just pass the access key here. The access key is already a variable present. We will set the access keys later. This should not be have been a red line. We will check it after a few seconds. But yeah, token is equal to token generator dot create token, and then we will pass in the room ID for it, and also the access key that is required. So sorry, user ID. So that are the two things required for this create token. Oh, now I think I know why token generator is showing a red line. And when we connect, we just need to pass in the token that we got from create token. So let's fix this token generator red issue. We will have to go on top, and you will see we have two token generators, so we can remove one. And now let's go back down. Now this error would still come because the token generator, we are using the same name for the variable. So we need to fix this. So what we can do is we can rename this token generator to something else, which would be maybe variable token generator. So like VAR in front of it, that maybe solves it. Yeah, it solved it. So we also need to set the exact name for the token generator below it. So no red errors now, so everything looks pretty good now. So after the connect is successful, we can move on. We can add a switch case for mute and unmute of the mic. So let's add a switch, and the case would be the response itself. So string, and yeah, it's better now. So let's add the first case, which is mute mic. Now under it, oh, don't worry about that red line, we would solve it anyhow. We have a lot of red lines today, right? Like that string has to be removed. So let's remove this string and make it response, because string basically it's using the data type. It should have been response. So let's remove this, copy and paste. Yeah. So now after this, let's do one more thing. Let's on mute mic, what we need to do is we need to have a variable named odin media, which we can start and stop from here for controlling the voice. So that variable doesn't exist till now, but we can create it. So name this let odin media var media because odin media does exist below. So var media odin media, and done. So let's go back. And on mute mic, we will check if odin media exists. Var under media exists. If it does exist, then we will get var media dot start. Oh, why is it a red line? It should not have been a red line here. Give me a second. One more thing that we need to do is under the connect function, we need to initialize this odin media variable. So here where we get the media stream, we can initialize the variable. So set it var media is equal to odin room dot create media stream, and also add a await. Now because this is a async function, so we also need to add async in front of the media stream, or else it would give a red line. So async here, and done. Now this var media can be solved by a small thing. Let's go and solve it. Here where the variable is defined, just remove equal to and just add those two dots. Now here you can see the error has gone away. So let's go back and continue upon the mute functionality that we needed to do. Also we need to unmute the mic here also. So add var media dot start and dot then, so you can like have a response if the media, like if the mic got unmuted when we joined the room. So added then. Now if you don't want the user to be unmuted when he joins the room, you can skip this functionality. Console.log user is unmuted. Done. Oh, also add a n here. Sorry for that. Let's go back. Now here we will add add a case for unmute mic. If this exists, we will just add the if else check var under root var underscore media, and then just start the media if the mic has to be unmuted. Dot start. Oh, start. Brackets and end. So we are almost ready with our JS code. How does it look? Like you must be pretty happy with it, right? So let's save this up. And what we can do is we need to also add our access key here. We forgot to do that. So let's go to this link which is in the comments. You can also check it from the description. So it has an access key generator which we can use. So let's go to this link and scroll down, and you can just create an access key. So an access key can be used for 25 concurrent users. If you want a premium plan, you can use that, but for development this thing is a massive. One more thing that we can add is this user ID. So if you want to identify players on the front end, maybe you want to add a functionality where you have a positional voice chat stuff or stuff like that, then you can add this user ID and it would save the player's name also. And this user ID can be set when you get the player's info using the JSON. That is the room ID. When you get the room ID, you can do that. So let's add a new file in the modified samples. Now this is required because now what we want to do is we are typing code back to back to run a build for the front end. So we will just make this file. Let's open up in this Visual Studio Code, which will install everything and then build everything for us. So let's go to the project, modified thing, samples, pixel streaming, windows, front end, UI library, and copy the path. So name this CD path. Now you can also have relative path, but I'm going to use the exact path because I just need to use this for this video and I have some separate tools to do my own projects. Now the first thing is npm install. The second thing should be npm run build. Then we need the path of the folder where the Singling server is present. So we will go in Singling's web server, platform scripts, command, and copy the path for here. Then write npm build.bat -- build, and done. Just save this. One more thing that you need to add is add call in front of all the commands, npm run install and build.bat. Now just run this file. So because we have added 4-player audience, so we need to build the front end now. So you can see it's running all the commands line by line correctly as we wanted it to do. So I would be back in a few seconds. Okay, so the build finished. So let's close this thing up and open up our Unreal Engine, because now we need to do the Unreal's side of integration. We have done front-end integration, but we also need to do the Unreal's side of integration. So let's open up the U project file. Give it a few seconds. One more thing before we continue, we will be using a plugin named Varest, which you can find on the marketplace. It's free, so just remember to add it to the engine before following ahead. So enable the plugin in the project. Now this will be used to create a JSON, which can be as simple as just passing the room ID, or which can be as complex as passing all the player name, location, and stuff like that. So now we have Varest enabled. Let's go to our default character class, that is the PP third person character. Now again, if you haven't followed the older videos, you will find a little bit of difficulty. Like there is only one single older video, you need to follow it. But we already have the foundation, like to send the message to the front end, where we are sending some message. So now what we need to do is we need to send a JSON instead of a what do we say, string message. So we will get the virus subsystem, and then we will get construct JSON object, and then we will link it up. Then we will set a field for the room ID field, and this should be a string field. Now why we are using JSON, it's because so that in future you can easily expand it along with different stuff, and also you can be sure that you are passing a value which is going to be used correctly. So let's go back to our application.ts. Oh, why did I double click it? And open it with code, and scroll down to the place where you have the room ID, where you like break the JSON and get the room ID. As I said, the spellings should be exact or it would give an error that we could not break the JSON. So that's why I will copy the room code from here, because the variable name should be exact, and paste it in Unreal Engine. So the field names should be the room code, and the string value can be the room ID. Now if you don't know what the room ID is, it can be any, like for instance you have a game of PUBG where you have 100 players, and each 4 players have their own rooms. So like those 4 players can talk to each other even though how far they are from each other. So you can add groups, and like, so I am making a custom team group. It can be team group 1, team group 2, team group 3, anything like that. So encode it into a single string. Now this JSON has to be encoded into a single string and passed over to the pixel streaming response. And done. This is the basic setup for sending up the room code. Now when you press 9, it would be connecting to the room code, connecting to that room. But one more thing that is left is muting and unmuting the mic. So let's add the keys for that also. Before that, I would edit the comments. Join voice room. And then we will add maybe 1 or 2 key, and scroll down. Yeah, and name this, just call this pixel streaming input, and the descriptor would be mute mic and unmute mic. So we have to copy the exact spelling from Visual Studio Code. So let's go on switch event, copy the first case, paste it here, and then we now need to make a second key. So let's make this key 3, and let's make it unmute mic. Copy from here and paste it here. So our mic would be getting unmuted when we press 3. So after this thing is done, let's start a packaging for a Windows build, and as soon as this is done, I would be back. Our modified samples one and copy the old modified samples, like the samples that we modified, and go to Windows, and the build we made, we will replace the samples of this. So you can delete this one from here, and in a few seconds yeah, it's destroyed. So now you can just paste it here. We had already copied it, so right click and let me just check. Yeah, right click and paste. So now after this is done, let's go to the singing web server and platform scripts and run the run local.bat file, so that we can locally test the pixel streaming. And done. So now we also need to start that shortcut. So we just need to start that game. Let's go back. Yeah, start this one. And just give it a few seconds. Yeah, it's done. So let's go to localhost. And this is ready. And now you can also go to this 4 players Odin website. I will link it in the description so that you can test it with your buddies, or even if you want like to test it locally that the voice chat stuff is working or not. This is a really good service that you can use to test the voice chat locally if you don't have friends. So what you need to do is you need to copy the room name that we passed, so that is available in the Unreal Engine only, so we'll have to open that up again. Just give it a few seconds. Yeah, it's open. So we will go to the editor and we will go to this and copy the room code. So we will enter the room code on the room name and then press on settings and scroll down. Yeah, allow your mic access. Scroll down. You have your access key. Now enter the access key that we generated. You can copy it from the VS Code. On top we will have it. This is the access key, so just copy it and paste it in the access key section and save. And now you can just directly press connect and it would be done. And yeah, you can allow notifications, so you can see we joined and we have our mic muting and other facilities that we normally have. Now let's go to the Pixel streaming client, and now we are connected here also. So let me open up inspect element. Yeah, so now when we have the controls, I pressed that button to connect to the voice chat, and you see it ask me for voice chat support, and now it started my mic. If I go back here, you will see that I'm connected here also. Now if I speak something here, it should be going on to technically that client that we have 4+1. I can hear myself, like the voice echo is there, and I can even mute, and if I speak from here, I can even like hear, as you can see. So as I'm speaking, you can see unknown guy is speaking. That is the Pixel streaming client that we are connected to. Now if I go in and mute my mic, and then you will see, oh, did I not mute my mic? I should not be able to speak. One sec, I will again press. And now you can see I am not receiving any input. Sorry, I did not press that button, I think, or I missed it. And now if I repress it, I should be able to speak again basically, and I would be able to like unmute my mic, as you can see. So it's working, and I can even do the vice versa stuff. Like I can mute my mic here and then go here and enable my mic and speak from here, and I can hear it from the Pixel streaming client. So these stuffs are working. So now how do I hear it? Because I can myself experience that thing out, and you can see now both the clients are speaking, which is creating a very bad scene in my home. But leaving that aside, that is it for this video. We have done it. You can now auto scale it and do whatever you want to. You can modify the room names to have multiple voice chat rooms. And that said, these messages that are coming in the console command, you can disable them. That's not required. It's in the VS Code. We have console.logs, which you can modify. Let me just show you there. Yeah, messages like these, adding new media, handle activity update on media. You can remove these console logs if you don't want them, but you should leave it for the development period at least. So that said, thanks a lot for watching this video. Hope this series would be helpful to all the guys that are trying to get ahead with pixel streaming, and let me know if I could help you out with anything related to this. That's it. Thanks a lot. Bye. Oh, also, I just wanted to say 2 more videos coming in this series. So yeah, bye.